He's made this vicious remarks against the Indian Prime Minister in the UN. Is coming with a party of journalists. Is he going to make any public statement?
Yeah.
Indian media is going to chase him. Is going to push him on the things he said about Mr. Modi. So
Hi, so in this week's Rajamandala, you've written about Bilawal Bhutto's impending visit to India for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meeting, as well as talked about the problems within Pakistan that make it difficult for Pakistan as well as India to either have a thaw in bilateral relations or Pakistan and the rest of the world. So in that context, apart from a sort of just a cosmetic visit, because I think it's the first time in a decade a Pakistan foreign minister will be in India, is there any point even having any other expectation from Mr. Bhutto's visit this week?
yeah, I mean, if you go by the state of visible state of affairs, I mean, quite clearly there can be very little expectation of anything good will come out. But there is an intriguing question, I mean, which is uh, the Pakistan ministers have boycotted most of the meetings of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So why has the foreign minister chosen to come? I mean, he could have done via Zoom or so. Obviously, they've taken a decision to send him in, whether it is a signaling commitment to SCO or whether it is hinting at a willingness to take a fresh look. But at the same time, there is also the concern among sections in Delhi that he's made this vicious remarks against the Indian Prime Minister in the UN. Is coming with a party of journalists. Is he going to make any public statement? Within the SCO, there won't be much time to really, he could always rake up Kashmir. I suspect he might not, but he has a forum outside, given the interest in the Pakistan ministers and the Bhutto certainly. The Indian media is going to chase him, is going to push him on the things he said about Mr. Modi. So I think there is a volatile setup ready-made for the visit. So now I think whether they want to duck this, whether they can manage this. So if they it's easy to explode into something a kind of huge controversy, or it could actually be one where he signals that look, whatever has happened, the time has come for us to engage each other. I mean, that was the signal we got from General Bajwa.
Yeah.
Remember, with the ceasefire, Mr. Imran Khan was not in support. So, if he wants to make a public statement signaling a different path, which will be even more controversial in Pakistan, might be welcomed in India. So, I think there are many possibilities of how this could play out.
So, much of the piece, everyone should read it. It's on the indianexpress.com and probably wherever in the description or wherever you're watching this video. Where do you see that playing out now? Because there's a lot of attacks on Bajwa domestically in Pakistan because of saying that some off the record comment people are claiming that, Pakistan army cannot fight India, things like that. Do you think that as long as, I mean, someone or the other, it is impossible really to have a consensus within Pakistan on how to engage with India, or even with the US, as you point out, or with Europe, or the Russian crisis? There seems to be a real lack of clarity. How does that play out for us and for them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a major challenge, not just for India, for most of Pakistan's interlocutors. Historically, the army broadly set the shall we say the boundary conditions, the limits of what you could do and what you should do in foreign policy. But I think Imran Khan's 3.5 year tenure, where he has really challenged the conventional wisdom of Pakistan's foreign policy on a number of fronts. General Bajwa negotiated the ceasefire with India. While the ceasefire has held, the idea was to take forward with, for example, starting with trade, exchange of ambassadors, and a lot of other things could have followed. There's even reports from Pakistan that they were hoping that Prime Minister Modi would make a visit. Now, all this, a lot of it got played out in the public. In fact, the Pakistan's Commerce Ministry, that time headed by Imran Khan, actually, okayed the decision to resume trade, small two items across the Lahore-Wagah border, Lahore-Amritsar border. But Imran Khan, the Prime Minister, turned it down. So I think Imran Khan was not ready to go forward, while Bajwa seemed willing to go forward. But today, I think Imran is out of power, but his popularity, his dominance over the street will make it hard for the other political parties to be seen as getting cozy into a cozy relationship with India. But if the army really wants it, that is, if they say, look, Pakistan is in a bad shape. This is exactly what Bajwa was saying in 2021, saying, look, Pakistan needs to change course. That case, given the economic crisis, Pakistan's multiple problems, is even more important. And most sensitive people would say improving relations with India would be a first step in reordering Pakistan's international politics. So I think if the army and the political class, which is Zardari and Nawaz Sharif, both have supported normalization of relationship with India, if they say, look, they're willing to bear this controversy and move forward with India, they have an opportunity to signal that through the public pronouncements of Bhutto. But I think no one is willing to bet on that at this stage in Delhi.
Yeah. So, and final question. So now within Pakistan, they will also have an election coming up soon. There's a lot of who will. Does it help if, say, Imran Khan is not in the picture? If he remains, that will be the ultimate test of his politics on the street. So you have then maybe if it's a PPP, the kind of coalition there is now, or even a plus the army on the same side. Is that because this, like I think in the piece somewhere you say that the army may be the best bet as of now, but there's still always the thing that I mean you can't trust anyone you make a deal with, not trust, but you don't know how long they will hold the cards in their own hands. So do you think that's the only way is to wait and watch for India and to see what happens with domestic politics there?
Yeah, two things. I think this is not just about elections. I mean, I think, in fact, the current government is not willing to hold the elections. So
Yeah.
I think the crisis is deeper than there is an impending election. So countries,
Hmm.
the parties are jockeying for power. Therefore, you can't normalize with ties with India. I mean, I don't agree with that. The crisis is much deeper. The challenge that Imran Khan has presented the army and the political system is much more deeper. So my sense is that they're already facing a lot of scrutiny in terms of the dealing with the challenges presented by Imran Khan. So you could say, if you're an optimist, you could say taking one more controversy, that
Yeah.
is of actually engaging India, is certainly the traffic can bear it in Islam. The other problem for us, I think, looking at the situation is that the army, the Indian National Security Advisor Ajay Doval had this back channel going with General Bajwa and the ISI chief there. That's what produced the ceasefire.
Yeah.
The fact that ceasefire is held for the last 2 years suggests that the army is still on board with a reasonable engagement. They have a new army chief, General Asim Munir. So I think it's reasonable to assume that the army is still on board. It is really the Imran Khan problem that complicates the thing. But if the political class wants to say confront Imran on that issue, it is entirely possible. But I think for India, expectations are clearly low in that it is really in their hands.
Yeah.
That's the burden of my argument has been
Yeah.
Pakistan has to come to some kind of a judgment. How does it want to deal with the world? How does it want to deal with India? Can it go on in the manner where its economy is bankrupt? It has few friends left. So can it make a fresh start?
Yeah.
If Pakistan makes a decision, I think India should be more than enthusiastic about really taking that process forward.
Great. So thank you so much, everyone. Read the piece. It's on the IndianExpress.com, and we will see you next week. So thank you so much.